Welcome to edition 54 of our Killa No Filla podcast with me, Rachel Fairburn, and Kiri Pritchard-McLean. Just before we start, we'll do our usual disclaimer. This isn't hero worship. We do this podcast because of mutual interest in serial killers, and as long as we are doing this podcast, it stops us from writing to them in prison. That's the most Mancunian I've ever sounded, and I don't know why.
I'm gonna fucking die. You know, when you got pins and needles and your leg's waking up, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna actually die. This is the worst feeling in the world.
Is it tickling? Is it tickling?
It's not tickling. It's just like, it's like painful but not, and tickling. It's oh my god, it's so overwhelming.
What a beginning. What a start.
Oh, fucking Nora.
You feeling better?
No, I feel worse.
Get it out before the new year
That's
starts.
not the last one of my life, and it's just reminding me how painful they are. Right. Hello.
Good morning. Well, I don't know why I'm saying that. You could be listening to this at any time of the day.
This is the last one that we're recording for 2018, the year of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Yep.
As Dan Nightingale says.
This is terrible podcasting. This is terrible.
She hurts me. I know it's an audio medium. I shouldn't really be screaming. Fucking hell. Right, it's back. It's awake now. We're good. So welcome to episode 54 of the All Killa No Filla podcast, where we're doing John George Haigh. How do you like it? How do you like it? John George Haigh.
Very nice.
Yeah, I came up with that just then.
How does he like it? Acidic. That's how he likes it.
Yes, also known as the acid bath murderer.
Yeah.
Quite a famous one, isn't he?
Yeah. 6 murders. A very jaunty one. I feel like he's got the right amount of time between the murders. I feel like enough time has gone for it to be sort of, I don't know, quite theatrical. Does that make sense?
No.
Like, it doesn't feel... It's not so current that it's disgusting. I mean, it is still disgusting, but the clothes I love the time period that it's...
What you're saying is it's been long enough for you to feel all right about fancying him.
I don't fancy him. I said he's charming.
Okay.
I said he looks charming. He's very dapper, and he's a con man. I would have been taken in 100%. I'd have been like, who's that bloke there?
If he'd have facilitated your lifestyle, you'd have been all over it, mate. If we could buy you a few train tickets to get to gigs. We've just been having this conversation. I'm just going to move this closer so people can definitely hear this absolute gold. You've just been saying that you just want to be a kept woman, don't you?
Yeah, well, obviously I will always work, but sometimes, as the single person, sometimes you're like, can I just have a financial buffer, please? Because life's really hard for the single self-employed person. It's bloody difficult.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not skint. Please don't be thinking that I'm skint.
You can have people sliding in your DMs now, being like, send me this and I'll give you a £5.
On the subject of which, sliding into DMs, give it up, please, everyone. I've noticed there's a new culture of negging that exists, and some ladies out there, and I'm not being sexist when I say that, it's usually women that will get these messages. So men now, instead of the traditional, I don't get the traditional, do you want to see my dick thing, because they probably think, oh, she's seen loads of them, that's not going to impress her.
Yeah,
so
I think everyone thinks I've got dick fatigue as well. I've not had dicks.
So I think what it is...
I'm not complaining. I don't want to see... Oh no, sorry, I won't interrupt. Oh no, he says I can't say it.
Go on.
No, I can't.
Is he going to listen to it?
But it's a violation of trust.
Break that trust.
No, I'll tell you when we switch this off.
So, there's this new culture of negging from, I presume, incels. So you'll get a message, a DM on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. My DMs are open, they shouldn't be. Now...
What, on Twitter?
Yeah.
You're a fucking maniac.
It's this thing, right, where they'll, instead of, I don't know, saying... I don't know, like in the past, negging would be somebody would say something obviously negative about you for you to react, like, oh, great haircut or whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's this, and this has happened to me several times over the Christmas period. Hey, I thought I'd just check in with you. Hope you're not having too much of a hard time. Why would I be? I'm having a fucking great time, pal.
Yeah, you sent me one that was like, hey, I can tell that you're having a hard time, and I just want to let you know that if you want, I'm here. I'm like, What the fuck are you on about? You're literally living your best life.
I'm absolutely fine. The only way my life would be bad is if these people sending these DMs were in it. Secondly, there's another one, which is this keeps happening. Oh, it's so sad that someone as kind and as lovely as you is on their own. Firstly, do not assume that I'm kind. I am far
Lovely,
from
you'll
it.
take on the chin.
Yeah, I'll take that on chin, but I am far from kind, so do not be under any illusions about my kindness. In fact, when I am kind, it shocks me. That's how sort of kind I am. But yeah, just don't do it. Also, I'm not really going to go out with somebody who listens to the podcast, am I? That's not going to happen. You know far too much. I mean, let's face it, you know far too much about me anyway. But anyway, I'm rambling. The point is, don't worry about me. Literally swimming in cock, mate. I can get them. I can't keep them. That's something I need to work on.
You need to start fishing for cock instead of swimming in it.
Instead of swimming in it.
I can't look at my Instagram DMs now. It all got too intense. It's either, men saying weird stuff or people sort of like, people just saying, can you do this for me? Or I need help with this. And it's like, it sounds really brutal, but I'm like, I can either keep myself sane or I used to answer everything and now I don't. I don't answer, I just don't even look.
I love how you get the things of people reaching out, like, can you please help us? And I get like, I was like, she's not going to fucking help us with anything, is she? Not a chance. In fact, I would help with things. I am actually quite kind.
You are? You've been great with me.
If I like you, I'm kind. If I don't know
if you're on the inner circle.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I give money to charity.
Anyway, so the acid bath murderer. We call our WhatsApp group the acid bath, don't we?
Tell you what, poison. Well, I texted you something yesterday on WhatsApp and I was like, I'm just getting this out before the... it's like lancing a boil. Get all the poison out before
Drawing
2019.
out the poison. Yeah.
And New Year's resolution, I'm going to actually be a bit more positive, I think. I'm a lot happier than I used to be. I mean, I've had a few knockbacks over Christmas, but I've bounced back.
Why are we getting into this? Alan Partridge.
I have watched too much Partridge, that's it.
Let's talk about John George Haigh. How do you like it? How do you like it? So he was born in 1909, July 24th, in Stamford in Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincolnshire, lovely part of the country. So far from everywhere, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you got to go either up or down and then across.
So difficult to get to. Like, every time I've had a gig in Lincoln, I'm like, this is going to be 2 days out of my life.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It feels like when you used to have to get a ship places.
And the family moved to Outwood in Yorkshire, where he lived until he was 24. His parents were John Robert, who was an engineer, and his mother was Emily, who he was an only child, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And his family were very religious, part of the Plymouth Brethren, a religious group.
Again, sounds one of those small town rap groups.
Yeah.
With the Plymouth Brethren, and everywhere from this bargain booze to that bus stop is our turf.
And I'm going to put plimp soles over the telephone wire, just so you know.
So yeah, their house was it was religious because Plymouth Brethren they were anti-clerical though, weren't they? They were more sort of about symbolism and things like that. But the Lord was used as a sort of deterrent and a way of keeping them in line. He describes his childhood as bleak and lonely, and his only friend was the neighbour's dog and his pets.
God, if he thinks his child was bleak and lonely, he didn't know what the fuck was in store for him, did he?
Well, I think actually at adulthood he really flourished.
I mean,
I'd say he's sort of self-actualised into what he was going to be.
He had a lot of talent, which we'll get to in a bit, that he just used incorrectly, I think.
This is really similar to my childhood. My friend was a dog. Because I've got two big brothers, but they're older than me, so they left, and my parents bought me a dog as a friend.
What was the dog called?
It was called Zach, named after the Black Power Ranger, because it was a black Labrador cross collie. My favourite Power Ranger.
Oh.
Who was yours?
I've never seen it.
What the fuck?
There's a couple of years between us, isn't there?
Still,
So
you would have been on the cusp of it.
I'd never watched.
Really?
No, I thought it was silly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was silly.
Actually, to be fair, it was pure silly.
Yeah.
So the bad guys were grey, people in morph suits, and they had a big button on them that as soon as you hit it, you killed them. And they were called putties, I think, and they would go for like the whole time and just sort of like shake around a bit.
Not for me. I don't think I could watch
that.
The
baddies were good. The actual villains were pretty scary.
Well, I went through a phase like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was.
Who's your fave?
Who's the one who's with a red Raphael?
Yeah, I think
he's a bit of a sort in a.
I mean, they all look the same. They're turtles.
He's got a bit of you know, like he'd treat you badly, but buy you a pizza. Like that kind of.
It's literally your ideal man, isn't it? A Teenage Mutant Hero Turtle. Absent, kind of erratic job, really into pizza. Good God.
I was convinced over Christmas that I'd found the right person for me because I watched him demolish a 20-inch pizza in like 8 minutes.
And that was literally the only compatible thing, is that he ate a lot of food quickly and you're like, yeah, that's it, buy a hat.
That was my actual phrase.
Yeah, he told me to buy a hat.
Oh, God.
You could have just been telling me my hair's shit.
In a really subtle.
There was a 10-foot wall around the house and gardens to keep them more, kind of the family more private.
Perfect.
Well, there's a really funny, we've done a live show of this, and I think I've told people at the live show. So there's this program called The Fucking Fulfords.
Oh.
Which is about this really posh family who swear a lot. How charming. And so my friend Adam does a really funny, from Gaines, really funny impression of it, where the guy goes, he's giving me a tour, and they've got this like 12-foot wall, and he goes, and you know why, this is in Cornwall, where they've got like one of their properties, and you know why we build a wall so high? And the guy on the camera's like, no, and he went, to keep the fucking corner shut. But he does a really fucking brilliant impression of it.
I'll tell you what, if you do, I mean, Netflix to me is just dog shit. But I found something last night. Oh, there's too much stuff on it.
If there was any less, you'd whine that it was shit and there wasn't much choice.
Bandersnatch is good.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. But I don't give recommendations. Who am I to recommend anything? But last night, Real Life Wife Swap on Netflix. Oh my God, what a show!
I think I'm going to watch that today.
It's amazing, and it's just that I'm at like it's probably about 15 years old, and the thing is though, there is a bit of, I think whoever's made it has got a bit of an issue with Northerners and thinks we're thick, but they're not doing a good job on there of proving the point wrong. It's fucking amazing. It's so good. So the first one's like this sort of quite posh people having like a swingers party at their house. The second one, there's a couple from Blackpool in it. The third one, it's they send these 3 different levels of swinger to a chateau in France with this really posh guy and his wife who own it, and they just embarrass themselves. At one point, the guy who owns it comes like storming out around the pool while this guy's getting sucked off by his wife and has a go at him. He's like, he knows the rules. There's no playing around the pool. And this guy's just putting his dick away.
God, that's
Honest
so
to God,
grim.
Real Life Wife Swap. It's so good. So good.
It sounds fucking filthy. It sounds like you need a shower afterwards.
Oh, you're going to love it. It's so funny. It's like Julia Davis has created all the characters. Oh, it's amazing.
He used to give food to the neighbour's dog, and he'd like hold back his own food so he could, because that was his mate, so he's feeding him as well. And he apparently didn't like suffering of animals. He was quite into animals, which is unusual. Yeah, it's sort of the opposite of what you'd expect. So he had was it him or his dad who had a mark on his dad?
His dad had a mark on his forehead,
like a birthmark.
Yeah, and when little John George Haigh asked him about it, he said, "Oh, that's the devil's mark because I've sinned. And if you look at your mother, she hasn't got one because she's pure.
She's an angel."
An angel.
Yeah.
Oh.
Little did he know his mum was fucking everything that they no, I'm joking.
That's not true.
She's on that programme we watched. So he had this whole thing of like, oh God, if I sin, I'm going to physically get a mark on me. So he grew up and was just terrified, and he used to be disciplined loads. He was hit with a hairbrush so much that it drew blood. And he claimed in later years that he used to lick the blood off the hairbrush.
Oof.
But
dirty sod.
But we'll talk about that stuff later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Now, he was part of the choir at school. I think he wasn't He was very proficient on the piano, by all accounts.
Yes. He had no mates at school, really lonely, and he used to go straight from school, straight home. He wouldn't knock around with anyone. But the choir gave him sort of a new lease of life. Mm-hmm. Because he was quite famous for being a bullshitter in school with a quick tongue. Sounds
like Will Duggan.
He joined a Catholic choir, and he really liked it. He liked how structured it was. He liked that it was very clerical. So from 10 till 16, he starts to push back against the Plymouth Brethren and their religion and starts deliberately sinning to see if a mark appears. And when it doesn't, he's like, oh, maybe I can either get away with stuff because the devil's on my side, or all this is like make-believe. So he used to apparently meditate on images of Christ on the cross bleeding. But again, we think that might be bullshit because he tried to sort of... no one can vouch for any of this, and he sort of tried to retrospectively engineer a sort of fantastic hallucinogenic childhood, didn't he?
Yeah.
As in, like, I'm mental, me, let me off, and I've always been mental.
There's a lot of bullshitting going on.
A lot of bullshitting.
I almost was in the school choir. Almost.
Oh, yes.
A Catholic choir as well. Went to a Catholic school all the way through. Does you good, obviously. And I was probably about 6, and I remember we were singing, so we had nuns at my school, Sister Pat.
I think that's so weird to be taught by nuns.
A horrible woman. She was a horrible person. So she was playing the piano. For some reason, it's really funny thinking of a nun on the piano, and I don't know why, and I've seen it.
Sister Act.
Oh, yeah.
That's why.
That's why. There's the connection. So we're singing a song, I don't know, probably, Make me a channel of your peace, or... Follow me, leave your homes and family.
What?
Leave your fishing nets and boats upon the shore.
Bad advice.
Exactly.
Terrible advice.
One of those classic Catholic songs. And
that's literally the instructions of a paedophile ring.
So I was singing along with everyone else in unison, and Sister Pat suddenly stops the piano and she goes, "Hold on 1 second. Somebody over here has an absolutely beautiful singing voice. Rachel Fairburn, stand up." I thought, this is it. Here we go. Right, I could see the fucking stadiums in my mind at that point. I thought, this is it. This is what I'm meant to do. And I stood up and I started singing. And within 2 words, she went, "Yeah, sit back down." And the girl next to me, she went, "Stand up." Oh, and it was her with the fucking beautiful singing voice. And what did she get to do? She got to be Mary in the school play all the time. She got to be Oliver when we did Lionel Bart's Oliver as a production. No, this won't happen now. I wanted to audition to be Bill Sykes in that, and they wouldn't let me because I was a girl.
Really?
Wouldn't happen now.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
That part would have been mine.
It's a great part.
It's a great part, yeah.
Artful Dodger, I thought you always wanted to be.
I did.
You wanted the dog.
I would have wanted to be the Artful Dodger, but for some reason I really, really, really wanted to be Bill Sykes in that.
You wanted to beat a woman to death.
7 years old. What was wrong with me?
Very weird. Very weird. I was Angel Gabriel, who's sort of gender fluid.
Oh, yeah.
But I had a little boy's haircut, so that's fine.
A pudding, like.
Yeah, I literally looked like Paul McCartney when I was a kid. I'll dig out a picture somewhere. Very cute, but you cannot tell if I'm a boy or a girl. But I was a massive, massive tomboy.
Oh, in fact, I'll just as we're going through this, I will just show you a picture, 2 pictures of me, that how short my hair was and how everyone used to think I was a little boy all the time.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What a tomboy!
I know.
I've always seen you in really girly
Strap
stuff.
in for this one.
Christ.
I look like Jimmy Carr.
I can still see you're a teenage girl there, whereas the other one you just look like a little lad.
Just like a little boy, don't I?
Yeah. You look like a young Jimmy Carr
Yeah.
in the other one.
Always used to get mistaken for a boy, like, "Oh, is this your son?" My dad used to be like, "No, it's my daughter."
Oh, so he became an apprentice mechanic.
Yeah.
But he didn't like the dirt, so he left after a year.
Yep.
Then he became a clerk at Wakefield Education Community College. Quit again. Was an underwriter for an ads and insurance agency. He was good at that, and he ended up buying a bright Alfa Romeo, like Alan Partridge.
I'm not impressed by cars at all. I don't care about them, but sometimes if a bloke's got a flash car, I go, ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't give a fuck about cars either. Although the other day I got a lift from a brilliant comedian and wonderful human, Rob Rouse. And he had a BMW that was quite schwanky, and I was like, oh, bloody hell, he's doing all right.
Yeah, that's what I always go like, ooh.
And he was like a girl with a nice dress about it. He's like, oh, this, I didn't pay much for this, and I've had it, it's actually older than
this
it
old
looks.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
As he's smashing it to the
Yeah, like a bonus level on Street Fighter.
Putting the window.
So at 21, he got done for fraud, and he was a suspect for stealing the petty cash. So he basically lost the good job that he had, and it was his last sort of good one as well. Now in 1934, he marries Beatrice Hammer. Great name.
21 years old.
21 years old. Beatrice Hammer's a fucking brill name.
She wasn't that taken. I mean, he was, as I say, he was described as very well dressed, and he always had brill creamed hair. Love the smell of brill cream.
What does it smell like?
I can't describe it.
Is it like perfume?
No, it's a very particular smell, and it's very, very nice. Just go in Superdrug, open one and have a sniff. Don't buy it. It's very greasy. So someone might stop listening because I'm condoning going into a shop, opening something, smelling it, and not
Stop
paying
having a
for
go
it.
at no one.
I'm getting it out before the new year. He had sparkling blue eyes, as we've been told, but Beatrice was not impressed because when they got married, what was her quote?
So he proposed to her, and then afterwards she said yes, and then she said to her mate, "Oh God, I wish I could be anyone else," which is not what you want to hear.
No.
Although we know someone who did something similar.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah,
Still going strong though.
yeah. To be fair,
Strong and stable. Strong and stable.
if you don't know what that reference is, if you're international, that is our current Prime Minister, depending on when this goes out, Theresa May's, I was going to say catchphrase, what is it, motto? About strong and stable government ahead of Brexit. Because our country's about to go to shit in 3 months. If you could buy tour tickets now, that'd be great, because I'm pretty sure we're going to become like we're going to be queuing for bread soon.
Strong and stable.
What are you doing? She keeps stretching it every time she does it.
Because I just imagine when she says it, she knows it's not true. And she's like, yep, I'll get my coat. Like, it's just a thing.
She looks like she's so unsure. Oh, I'm not even going to get into it. I can't, I won't be drawn on it. So she was never sure.
We'll say there's other podcasts you can listen to out there for political insight. Matt Ford does a good one. Listen to that. Oh, yeah,
it's great. Yeah, Bugle. So she wasn't sure where all his money came from. She's like, considering he doesn't work or does crap jobs, he's got a lot of money. Now, both sets of parents disapproved of the marriage, although Haig's parents allowed them to live in the house. But then he got sent to prison for his crimes. He gets let out, and he only met her once in that time. And he said, just so you know, this marriage wasn't official. And she was like, okay. So just kind of tries to go and crack on with her life. But he lied about that. It was official.
Oh.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but she's even weirder for just going, okay.
But if you're like, oh yeah, another bit of his bullshit.
Yeah, true.
Imagine being in this age.
And she's probably relieved as well.
Yeah, of course. She's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Imagine living in this age, having all that happen to you and not being able to sell your story to take a break.
Oh.
It's a shame, that, isn't it?
Oh, terrible business.
Have I told you about my friend someone tried to... she had an ovarian cyst, and she kept going to the doctors. As doctors are wont to do, they're like, it's in your head. It's in your head. So eventually, she gets rushed into hospital because she, hasn't been to the toilet, can't eat. And she's really, really slim, but she had, a belly, I guess. I thought she was pregnant when I first met her. This cyst had grown to 2 stone, and they had to, drain, 12 litres of fluid from it. Mad. And she went through all that. It was horrific. And then, Take a Break got in contact and were like, listen, we know you've had this medical thing. Do you want to talk about it? And she was like, yeah, you get some money for it. So they phoned her up and they were like, yeah, God. And she was sort of talking about all the time she'd been to the doctors, all the times they just ignored her, said it was in her head, said it was trap wind, told her to eat bran, all this bullshit. And they were like, yeah. So she's on the phone for an hour. And then at the end, they're like, have you got any pictures of the cyst, though? That's all they wanted. Was like, have you got any pictures of it? She's like, no, I haven't got pictures. I didn't have a selfie with it. We are going to need some pictures of this. Have you got any review before and after with it? Because, she used to wear like size 14 clothes even though she's tiny. And then when I had it taken out, she was size 6.
Fucking hell.
There was nothing of her. It was this massive thing living in her.
I wonder how many people are like, well, that's what I've got. That's it. It's a cyst, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got a cyst on my ass, both cheeks, sort of that bit of fat around the tummy, sort of bum bag of cyst at the front.
Did it run to take a break?
No. She was like, fuck off.
And she didn't get paid?
vultures.
Oh, she just told them to fuck off.
Yeah, because they were like, well, let's get some pictures. And she was like, fuck off. And she was like, I could tell then they were going to twist it into some like, freaky, horrible circus freak thing.
I used the term love rat the other day. And I was like, where has that come from?
Yeah.
Like...
There's that language that only gets used and stuff like that. And then slams, love rat.
Well, that's because I think it's because they're my guilty pleasure, those magazines. I fucking love them.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Oh my God, they're so bad. I love them so much. And I think it's because I'd read quite a few over Christmas. And then I was like, well, either that or he's a love rat. I was like, what is this?
That's so embarrassing that. I worry about you. Don't read Mark Twain. You'll start using the N-word.
Oh, don't. What are we up to? Oh, right. So, he was very good at forgery, wasn't he? This is what we need to get to.
Yeah, he was really skilled.
So he used to stand... He also was very good at impressions and mimicry, and he would stand for hours in front of the mirror practising people's facial expressions and various things like that. He was very good at forging documents. I'm quite good at forgery.
Are you?
Yeah.
I was bad. I got caught for signing my own homework diary in school.
Very good. I've got the same handwriting as my mum, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm quite good at impressions, though.
You're very good at impressions. I'm all right at certain ones.
Such a shit talent to have in 2018. If it was 1993, I'd be a millionaire.
I can only really do people that we know.
Same here, yeah.
And
you do a really good Pete Otway.
Hello, mate.
Oh, that's so good. You don't know him, but that's so good. Have you got Will Duggan?
I can only do...
I can do that, yeah. It's a physical thing.
Yeah.
We'll put it up on Facebook. We'll do it on our next Facebook Live. Remind us that there's a Will Duggan impression and this.
The utter despair of living.
Yeah, it's so funny. Oh, who else can you do?
Who else can I do? I can do... that comedian that we know.
Oh, that's a really good... Tom Lucy.
Like this, yeah.
That's a great impression. That's a great impression.
Who else? I can do Who else do we know?
That's it. Those are the only people
I used
we know,
to be able
actually.
to do Des Sharples, who used to run gigs in Manchester.
Oh, Desi.
Lovely bloke. Yeah, thank you very much for coming, Rachel. Absolute pleasure to give you your first paid gig. I'm sure you're going to go on to great things, thank you.
That's
Brilliant,
so
Des.
good.
Des is
That's
a lovely
nearly
man.
Hazel, who runs Laughing Cows as well.
Oh, yeah, I know, it is nearly Hazel. It's very, very similar. Very, very, very similar. Who else? Who else do we do?
So Manchester seems to be your forte.
Manchester's
Anyone from the
definitely my
greater
forte.
Manchester area?
There's someone else I could... I can't remember. I do a great one of my favourite ex-boyfriend, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, you do actually. Getting the frown going and everything.
So, it was
a lovely little interlude for impressions.
It was nice,
Might
wasn't
have to
it?
cut that.
So, ostracised by his family because of the prison
Yeah.
sentence, which his mother said he was very upset about, but you're not convinced, are you?
Nah, he was like, he's deeply affected that the Plymouth Brethren stopped talking to him. Like, I don't think he was arsed.
He cracks on, though. He sets up a false solicitors.
No, before that, he does something else. So while he's in prison, he reads about someone selling hire cars. And he was like, I can do better than that. So he became a hire purchase inspector. And he says, this is his attitude towards work. When I discovered there were easier ways of making a living than to work long hours in an office, I did not ask myself whether I was doing right or wrong. That seemed to be irrelevant. I merely said, that is what I wish to do. So he basically was like, doesn't matter if it's moral, I don't want to have to work. Similar attitudes to a couple of ex-boyfriends of mine, I would say. So he advertised for a garage and he got one that was failing. Now, there was an option to purchase it. So what he would do, basically, so he bought this failing garage. He would forge the handwriting for a car purchase. A company would forward the money. He'd sign it off and cash the money. But he was caught after a few months and then he was sent to prison for 15 months. And that was the first time he'd ever been properly caught because he was in and out of prison with the other one.
Yeah.
But it really galvanised him because he's like, I've done all that, made all that money and he got 15 minutes in prison, not bothered. So he just sort of was like, okay, I'm going to double down on this. And he came up with a another plan. He was working in an amusement arcade as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was working at fixing machines and stuff like that.
I went to an amusement arcade on a pier in Llandudno recently, and it was fucking grim.
I think I've been in the same one. Is it when where Zoltar's outside?
No, that's Scarborough, isn't it?
No, I went there on the wooden pier.
I mean, you're describing all piers.
That is true. It's like
The one that goes out into the sea?
Yeah. Is it the one at the top?
Top of Llandudno?
Yeah.
I didn't see one of those.
Yeah, Zoltar was outside. And there was a couple of other things in there that I quite like that one.
It was fine, but in there was a young mum and 2 kids with cups full of 2p's. So she in their school uniform. And so she basically taken them straight out of school, and she'd gone down to win the Jackie on the Quizzy, as Will says. Well, no, she'd gone down to the slot machines, and then her kids were just left gambling, and I found it very uncomfortable.
Did she win, though?
Life
and now
overall,
they're millionaires.
They're all millionaires. Yeah, they're all millionaires. I remember one of the best things I saw is, if you go to Heaton Park Fireworks, they have what's it called? Like amusements, don't they, on the lower bit? So they've got like coconut shies and stuff like that. Hook a duck, that kind of stuff. And it's really threatening, and the music's really loud down there. It's got a real air of peril. And I remember we walked past that, I think it was like the coconut shy type thing. Not that, they don't have coconut shies now, but we'd throw something at it. And one of the prizes you could win was Mickey Blue Eyes on DVD.
Oh, God.
Yes, please.
Oh, it's still in the cellophane. So, Supersonic, the greatest film about the greatest band ever, Oasis. There's a bit.
The fact that you had to clarify shows you that you're wrong.
Where very young Liam Gallagher's on stage and somebody throws something at him and he goes, "I'm not here to get things thrown at me. I'm not a coconut stall, right?" And I just think he really missed the opportunity to go, "I'm not here to have things thrown at me. I'm not a coconut shy."
I'm amazed that his brain worked that quickly to get stall, to be honest.
I just think if he had...
There's no such thing as a coconut stall.
No, there's not. It's a shy, which is why it would have been so good if he did it like that. But anyway, I must think about that about 3 times a week.
That sounds like brain power well spent. So he set up this false solicitors because he was working at the amusement... this is what we're mentioning, the amusement arcade. He worked for a guy called McSwan.
Yeah, who
will come back later.
So he set this false solicitors, and he put an advert in the paper, but he gets caught because some pedant is reading the paper, and he's like, "This is solicitors in Guildford." He spelt Guildford wrong.
I thought it was on the headed paper it was spelt wrong.
Was it on the paper?
Yeah, there was like 4 different places it was, and the Guildford was spelt wrong on the headed paper, and someone was like, "I'm not sure I trust this charismatic lawyer." So he got 4 years in prison and was released during World War II. While he's in prison, he came up with a new plan. He was like, "This is too hard a way to get money. I'm going to do the perfect murder. That's how I'm going to do it." So he decided he was going to go after the rich old women, and he figured out that if there's no corpse, there's no crime. Corpus delicti is it? Delicti?
No thanks, I've just eaten.
Hey, that's the what's it called? Latin for it. Yeah. So he misunderstood the law. So he was going, well, if there's no body, there's no crime, but it's not that. So he was like, right, I'm just going to get rid of their bodies and then it's going to be fine. So he started to experiment with mice.
Yeah, in prison. So he got access to acid in prison, and it was because it was the prison workshop.
Yeah.
I think what the fuck they were doing in there, God knows. And people who'd been out on day release, he'd get them, when they came back in, he'd be like, "Do you want some cigarettes? Bring me some mice back and I'll give you some cigs." It's like cash for gold, isn't it? And he would then experiment with the acid, see how long it took the mice to decompose.
About half an hour if you're interested.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So he's freed in 1943 and he became an accountant in an engineering firm. Now, he bumps into McSwan, his old boss of the amusement arcades, in the Goat pub in Kensington. He's there with his parents.
Oh, I'd love to be in a pub in Kensington right now.
I can't think of anything worse. Oh. Those are 2 of my least favourite things.
What a dry Christmas I've had.
Well, you say that.
I've been drunk once in 2 weeks.
It's New Year's Eve tonight.
I know.
You're going to get hammered?
Probably not.
You're welcome to come to mine.
I had one night out, mate.
It's very sad, that, isn't it?
It was a big night, though, to be fair. I mean, I think there was 3 weeks worth of fucking boozing in that night, but yeah. Anyway, it's not something to be pitied for, is it? Like, oh.
No. Where were we? Oh, yeah, so McSwan was there and he brought his parents, Donald and Amy. Now, as they're chatting, they mentioned that they invest in property, and John George, hey, how do you like it? How do you like it? Gets really interested. So on the 6th of September 1944, McSwan just disappears. Now, what happened is...
McSwanned off.
Nice. Very neat, very neat. Haigh had lured him to 79 Gloucester Road, SW7, if you're interested.
If you for fans of the sat nav.
Yeah, for people who are a big fan of Waze, which is a great app, guys. He hit him over the head. Now, he'd made a workshop there, and it had a stirrup pump, a DIY tin face mask, and a bathtub.
This sounds like something from that wife swap show.
It was a steel bathtub that he painted so it wouldn't corrode. Because to remember, he needs to get rid of the bodies. So he stuffed him in a 40-gallon drum and poured sulfuric acid on him. And then the fumes must have been unreal. So he came back 2 days later and the body was sludged and he poured it down a manhole, which makes me feel ill.
I bet it stank.
Yeah. Now, he's told McSwan's parents that he went to Scotland to dodge the draft, which feels like... I mean, you've just murdered. You don't need to go, also, your son's a coward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not that I think people who dodged the draft in World War II are cowards. I think they're probably fucking sensible. I wouldn't have been handing people a white feather on the street. No. I bet you would.
Well...
You're actually quite anti-violence, which is...
I am, actually, in some circumstances. No, but I think... well, it's difficult to say. I mean, let's face it. If, say, for example, we suddenly had to be drafted for a war that occurred, I'd be fucking shitting myself.
My partner is terrified of being conscripted.
Oh my God, you can't even imagine. But I think the problem is with stuff like that, it was the people that couldn't do it and that people just assumed they were cowards.
Yeah,
it's
awful.
just, that must have been awful. But then there are fucking cowards.
But they used to shoot people for, with PTSD.
Oh, I know. It's awful.
Horrific.
Awful. I mean, I'm not condoning that at all. That is...
Here she is, condoning shooting soldiers in the head with PTSD.
Look, there's someone who had a granddad who was in World War II who really had... He definitely had PTSD.
They all did. It's horrific.
Certain, and he had flashbacks and stuff like that. Had fucking terrible, terrible business. It's gone a bit dark, hasn't it? So...
But it is... this is one of my theories about why our parents are a particularly shit, selfish generation, is that they were all raised by basically men with PTSD. Their households would have nearly all been erratic and stressful and scary, and that's why our parents are so emotionally stunted from where they should be. And they're in quite a difficult position because you've got these, they're raised by maniacs who are very sick. And then you've got these kids who are taught how to be incredibly emotionally literate. So they're trying to be I want to talk about my feelings. And our parents are well, I can't do that. I'm just going to punch this wall instead and blame my dad.
For the record, my granddad was not a nutter.
Oh, no, sorry.
He was a proper ledge. But yeah, there was some things where you're now I'm older and I know more about the world, I can look back and go, that was probably a result of seeing all those horrible things. Yeah.
And sending 16-year-olds off, even 15-year-olds who'd lied about their age, who were tall. It's horrific.
It's horrible.
It's horrific.
My granddad, though, he married my grandma the day, I think it was the day World War II broke out. And he married her in the morning, and in the afternoon he signed up to the army.
Oh, my God.
I know. Fucking hell.
That would have been quite badass back in the day, though.
Yeah.
Pretty suave, that.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a fucking ledge.
Yeah.
There must be some women waving blokes off going, please don't come back.
Yeah. People who've rushed into it and they're like, what the fuck have I got? Just fingers crossed, hoping for that letter from the front. Nice little widow's pension.
Also, why wasn't...
Did they get a pension? I don't know.
Why wasn't Haigh in the...
I don't know.
He was doing a bit of the old dodging, wasn't he?
Maybe because he'd been in prison, he wasn't allowed to.
I don't think that's
they
a
were
fucking...
just
They don't give a shit,
anyone,
do they?
I don't know. That's interesting. You must have had some medical condition.
Or a forged document.
Or a forged document feels more like it. So he told McSwan's parents that he'd gone to Scotland to dodge the draft, McSwan. So the end of the war approaches and they start to worry they haven't heard from him. So just kills them as well. He'd been sending postcards from Scotland. I don't know who did it, but he would send postcards up to Scotland and someone would send them back down again with a Scottish postmark on it. So he must have posted them in an envelope and then they took it out and posted it to keep up the pretense that he was alive. So yeah, on July the 2nd, 1945, he brings them over to Gloucester Road and kills them.
Doesn't he say that his... He then tells people, so he kills them and he tells people that they've gone to America, doesn't he?
No, that's the next one.
Is that the next one?
He stole their pension checks, sold their properties and possessions, which he got $8,000 for, but that's about £250,000 in today's money. And he told their landlady, you're right, that they went to the USA. He said, send all their posts to me. And so he'd just keep forging signatures on stuff and like they're still alive. So he becomes a fake liaison officer, so he's selling patents. What a fucking niche job. I don't know how he should be working for, like, Office Angels or something. Like, there's nothing he can't turn his hand to. So he claimed at this time that he killed and disposed of a young man called Max from Kensington that he met in a pub, which is a weird side note.
Yeah, because it doesn't say why he did it or whatever.
So he is big on gambling, John George, like huge on it. Now his money,
love a gambler, me.
Whew, cannot stand it.
I think it's sexy.
I think it breaks up.
Like, if you're good at it, it's sexy.
But you can't. I mean, like the house always, like it is just rigged against you.
I know, but it's when somebody's good at it, you're like, whoa, that is poor.
Really?
Oh yeah, marry me and lose our house. Go for it.
Actually, it's quite impressive when Will wins the Jackie on the Quizzy.
Oh, does he?
Will Duggan is fucking amazing at quizzes because he's got loads of useful information.
Unless you've seen the blooper reel of the chase that has been on recently.
Oh no, was he on the chair? Oh yeah, he was.
The bloopers.
Oh god, was answer so stupid he went on the bloopers?
Yeah, he got one question wrong. I can't remember what it was. Like, it was a stupid answer, but I've never seen it. So Will Duggan, friend of the show, Will Duggan was on the TV show The Chase, and I don't even know how he didn't do very well. He'd had a lovely day though. Thanks for having me, Bradley. And he was on. I got about 5 texts in 10 minutes the other day. I was like, "What's this? People asking me, is Will Duggan on The Chase bloopers?" I was like, "Well, obviously he is."
Bless him.
Oh,
God,
Will,
love him.
So. Gambling, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, so he's gambling and his money runs out, which is pretty impressive because he's just got £250,000, like, and $8,000 in their money, but it's still like to plough through that is mad.
Yeah.
So he chooses his next victim. It's Dr. Archibald Henderson, who's 52, and his wife Rose, who is 41. Now
no problem with that at all.
Well, it feels like there's some real judgment going on.
I'm fine with it.
11 years.
It's totally fine.
Well, my partner gets really annoyed because my partner's slightly younger than me. Gets very annoyed when I'm like, there's a bit of the year where he's like 2 years younger than me, and it makes me feel fucking physically ill. And he always goes, "This is the most immature thing about you, how obsessed you are with ages." And I'll be like, "How old's like his friend?" And he's like, "Oh, he's da-da." And I'm like, "So he was like 2 school years below you and you hang around with him?" And he's like, "Yes, you fucking baby." Like, he gets really annoyed that like I'm still like, what school year were you in? Like, I find it weird. But then in school I used to hang around with people who were in the year above anyway.
I have got no issue with age gaps, unless it's weird.
Legal, yeah.
As long as it's, even sometimes when it's legal, it's not. Say a 16-year-old going out with a 28-year-old, not normal.
No, that doesn't.
16.
What the fuck would you talk about?
Yeah, 16-year-old.
To be fair, Power Rangers, because it's come around twice.
We bonded over a love of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Is it Morphin?
Mighty Morph. Yeah, no. Heroes in a Half Shell. That's the different one.
It's not Morphine.
No, it's morphing.
Oh,
yeah.
Morphine. Right.
Because they turn in Triceratops. They turn into things. Saber-toothed tiger.
Absolute.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Do you know what? Sounds fucking shit.
What are you on about? It's fucking karate and dinosaurs. When you're a kid, those are the 2 things you're obsessed by.
Nah.
One of them's dead now. One of our original ones.
Really? What happened?
Yellow Power Ranger died in a car accident. I've outlived the Yellow Power Ranger.
Wow.
Which I get depressed about as well. I'm older than Julie Andrews was when she played Mary Poppins.
Oh, don't. I hate doing stuff like that. My one of my ex-boyfriends, remember one year?
Marlon Brando had an Oscar at my age.
Don't do this to yourself. Christmas, a couple of years ago, my ex-boyfriend was looking at something, he was like, oh, and what's wrong? He went, I think I'm the same age now as David Jason was when he started playing Del Boy. I went, please, what are you doing? Enough now, enough. I'm like, this is too much. He went, but he's always looked old.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I know.
He's always played old people. There's some people who get cast to do that specifically.
You know, of all the characters, like, Del Boy is a horrible person.
Yeah, he schemes and messes over his family. And
there's a couple of episodes of Only Fools and Horses that I'm like, you're bang out of order, Del Boy. There's one episode where he's trying to, when Rodney, they go for a meal or something, and I can't really remember. I just remember getting really annoyed at Del Boy and like not being able to watch the rest.
I feel like we needed a bit more information.
Right, basically, he made a fool out of Rodney, then there was no need to do it. And it made me really angry for some reason. I'm not a fan of the programme.
You know what? It'll come on Netflix and loads of like young people will be like, actually, I find this very problematic. Yeah. And this is, and I'm not being facetious. I think they're usually bang on the money with that stuff. And they're like, it's really transphobic. They use the P word, the P shop, they call it.
Oh, yeah, you know, Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
A couple of times, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, it does reflect the social thing of that time.
It shows how not non-offensive, because it was always offensive, but like it shows how not a big deal it was that was on like prime time.
But also, yes, of course things are problematic now, but also watch something for what it is for the time it was made. Let's not all start getting, oh, I'm upset about that. Oh, they said this in this. You know what? It happens all the time. There's some bullshit that's going on at the moment that in 5 years' time will be like, oh, that was a weird thing that happened. Times change, things change. Just watch something for what it is.
I agree, but there's nothing wrong with having the conversation about why that isn't appropriate now, or, you know, like, so the beginning of, what's it called, Peter Pan, they have a bit now which is like, hey, we're going to be depicting Native Americans here in a very unfavourable way. That we thought we'd keep it in because that is what the views were then. They're not our views now, but to get rid of it would to be whitewashing history. So this isn't what we think. I mean, succinctness.
I don't think there's any problem with having a chat about it, but I just think getting on your high horse about things. You know, my big problem is at the minute that I think is a real issue that nobody is addressing, and it's being swept under the carpet. Ageism.
Yeah.
Is a huge fucking issue at the minute. And also there's this attitude that everyone who voted for Brexit is an old person. That is not true. There's plenty of young people that voted for it. There's plenty of young people that did fuck all, actually, and just sat back. And I'm just tired of this. Oh, the old people ruined everything for us. It's not the fucking case. Let's all chill out. Also, I saw something the other day. It was like, somebody put Top of the Pops was on, and somebody put, oh, how old are the audience in Top of the Pops? God, some of them will need chairs. Oh, sorry, is music just for young people now, is it?
Yeah.
Are you not allowed to listen to music over the age of 28 now? Ageism is I think, the next big thing that we're going to have to address, because it's getting beyond a joke now.
But it's there's this whole, I think it's a sign of an ageing population. And the generation we're in, I mean, it's really getting into this. They believe that the older generation have broken their social contract with our generation, and that's why there's such deep division. So basically, it's the social contract, intergenerational social contract is meant to be that, like, you make things better for the people coming after you, and the people coming after before us, the baby boomers, basically have fucked everything. They fucked the planet. They've fucked the housing market. They've fucked loads of stuff. And we're the first generation that will be worse off than our parents were. And people are like, fuck you guys for that. And I think that's fair. But
no, I think it's very, very basic. I think it's very like, oh, you know, it's the sense of entitlement as well. It's like, oh, well, we're young and it's old people that have done this to us. I think it's just a really silly way of doing it. And I think People don't ask the reasons why people make the decisions they make. They just go, oh, you've done this, and that's affected me in this way. Nobody's like, oh, why have you done that? Or looking at the reasons behind why somebody might have done that. But it's like the whole Brexit thing. I voted Remain. I'm not a Leave
The statistics are that more young people voted to Remain, overwhelmingly voted to Remain, and more people in the eldest group voted to Leave. So that is the statistics.
And the other thing is the assumption that not everyone, and I'm annoyed that it was a Leave vote. Not everyone that voted Leave is a racist, and that is a very basic way to look at things, and that is a view that I think is a very sort of childish, basic, oh, you voted Leave, you're a racist. And I don't think, yeah, of course some people that decided that are, but I don't think that is the be all and end all.
Okay, yeah. Well, I was on the fence about voting whether to Leave or Remain because I think there's progressive left reasons for voting for Leave. Pete Otway and I had this very conversation.
Hello, mate.
But then when Leave killed a woman, I was like, oh, this is completely defined by immigration. So if it's a vote on that, I'm voting for immigration. But I think if people are racist, because there's overt racism, and then there's the what's the right word I'm looking for? There's the passivity of allowing white supremacy to exist and continue. So which is like, you will do better in life if you are white. You have more advantages. And I think everyone who voted Leave, and most people who voted Remain, will tick that box of allowing white supremacy to continue, which I think is racism. So basically I'm saying we're all racist.
Well, I'm not. I'm the exception to everything. An absolute,
you are exceptional, mate.
You're listening to Matt Ford's political party.
How have we got onto this?
I have no fucking idea.
No one wants to hear what we've got to say on fucking Brexit. Anyway.
Also, please do me a little favour, right?
Don't start on them now.
I love you all. However, please don't try and engage us in some political fucking chat. I'm not interested. Just tweet me with Oasis pictures. Now, where were we up to? The Hendersons. So they're selling their house.
They were selling their house, and that's how they met. Now they're all really into music.
They bonded over music.
Yeah,
that's how I end up with. I think that's how some of my absolute legendary friends, like the proper boozy mates. That's how I've got
really.
Them. Yeah, music pals.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, you like Oasis? Xabian.
So he found out that they owned other properties. So he was like, interesting. So he started to go over to their house a lot, and he would play piano for them.
Ooh.
And he started renting a storeroom on Leopold Road in Crawley. He moved his stuff in, and he set up one of his workshops.
I tell you what makes me laugh about him, he gets his feet under the table really quickly, doesn't it?
Straight away. Music mates, never trust them. So he ordered 2 carboys. Is that how you say it?
It's such a weird word, isn't it, cowboy?
Yeah. Of sulfuric acid and 2 40-gallon drums. So he's like, one for her, one for him. So February the 12th, just before Valentine's Day, 1946, 39:45. So just after, so they'd lived through the war, fuck's sakes. He shot Dr. Archibald Henderson in the head with his own revolver, which he'd stolen from the house one night he was over there. So he went back to the house to get Mrs. Henderson, and he's like, oh, I need to show you an invention. And she's like, I don't want to see your invention, which is exactly what I would say. I don't want to see your fucking invention.
This reminds me of, so my old housemate Colin, best housemate in the world, never saw him during the day. And he was
always nocturnal.
Always out at night, perfect. My friend Caroline, who'll be listening to this, hello Caroline, Miffo, as I know her. So she came over the door to my house once, and my housemate Colin had just moved in, and he's really into that game Eve and space and shit like that.
Which my brother, who's a nerd, described it as, he went, oh god, a bit much for me, that it's like a spreadsheet set in space. So when other nerds are like,
when other
bit
nerds
heavy
are
for
like,
me.
He said, oh, who's the redhead?
Oh.
Right, as she's crossing the road, she's got lovely red hair. I was like, oh, that's my mate, Caroline. He went, oh, be back in a sec. Goes in the other room because he's not unpacked all his stuff yet. Gets out this massive spaceship model that's about 3 foot long, 2 foot across. Puts it in the middle of the living room. I open the door. I'm like, why have you brought that in? He went, So, thought you might want to see my spaceship. It's like, she doesn't give a fucking shit. And then he's talking to her about this spaceship that he's bought. And she's just like, no, not for me.
Is that his fanny magnet then?
That was his...
Wax that out on the table.
Yeah, that was his thing. I tell you what, though, for a massive geek...
he got some, didn't he?
Ooh.
He's always with a different woman.
Always going through the ladies. I don't know if it's inappropriate to tell this story, shall I tell it?
Yeah, tell it.
Shall I tell it? Anyway, so, my old housemate, friend who was living with us at the time, I never heard him. He always had different women there. I never heard anything he got up to because I had the best room in the house. And he, one night, she looked traumatised and I said, what's wrong? She went, I think I've just heard him having sex. I went, oh yeah? She went, yeah, he's up there with a woman and, well, they're obviously having a good time. And at one point she went, no. And he went, yes.
Gosh.
We all know what that is, don't we? We know what that is.
Yeah, you're a fucking expert at it.
I'll give over.
Speaking of which, we did this live and we brought we brought people. Basically, when we did the live shows, we try and sort out presents wherever we can. So we just got these little lube sachets with stickers on it saying #drybumming, and we gave them out to people at the show. And so we organised that to happen, and Kath from Games on a Gift Shop helps me with stuff like this. So she ordered a load, and she was like, she basically sold out 2 whole companies with lube. And she was like, they must not know what the fuck is going on in this
who is
house.
this woman?
Yeah, exactly. She running a B&B? What's this? But yeah, she sold it. And she was like, apparently her algorithms for her targeted advertising have just been an absolute horror show ever since.
Fucking hell. God bless her.
God bless her.
In fact, people keep sending us pictures of just finding those lube sachets.
I love that.
So if you have still got yours or it's fallen out in a funny place... let us know.
Yeah, tweet
We
us
like
your
to-
pictures of where you keep your lube.
Yeah, we like
I mean,
to.
I think literally 3 hours later, someone had sent us a picture of it used. And we're like, all right, we'll have a lovely time. Thank good that you're being safe.
Yeah, I don't know if I should mention this. A couple of months ago, as a joke, and I didn't realise it was a joke, a chap said to me, that hot sauce, sriracha.
Sriracha.
Fucking love it. I said, oh, I love that sauce. And he said, I use it as lube. And I went, why? And he went, test people's boundaries. And I went, and he went, I'm joking. Oh, thank fuck for that. I genuinely thought you were being serious. What an awful thing to believe. I mean, I'm not easily shockable, but I was like, I'm joking. All right, okay, that's fine. Can you imagine if, like...
I
No.
can't even imagine that. It's unimaginable pain.
I can't imagine having to need it. Anyway.
Fantastic. So he went to get Mrs. Henderson. She's reluctant, but she eventually went down. He's like, oh, your husband's down there. So she walks
Oh, yeah, she
down the
says,
stairs.
Isn't it say always falling ill? That's
Yeah.
what it says, yeah.
And he shot her in the back of the head.
Oh.
He trussed them up and left them. And now he claims he drank their blood, but we think this is all part of the narrative that he tried to spin afterwards.
This
that
is
he
his
was
later.
criminally insane. Because he says, I poured their blood into a mug. I just think you wouldn't use a mug,
Chalice,
goblet, wine glass, one of those great champagne glasses that they have in The Great Gatsby. Even a sherry glass.
Even a wine glass with a wine charm on it. Even one of those
Not
if you're
one of them.
feeling common.
Cupped hands, but not a mug. That's not a mug.
No, you wouldn't drink it out of a mug.
World's greatest dad.
World's greatest lover. World's greatest vampire. It really annoys me when people have wine charms.
Why?
One, they're tacky as fuck. Secondly...
You're really on one today.
Yeah, secondly... Oh, please don't drink out of my glass.
Oh, is that why you have it?
Yeah, so you know which one's your glass. Oh, my glass. Don't drink out of my
This is spoken
glass.
like someone who's got caught minesweeping.
No, but I think it's...
I think it's a good... So, like, maybe if you're not drinking because you're pregnant, or maybe if it's like, oh, I drink a certain wine, or I like ice in mine and it melts and you can't tell.
Fuck 'em.
That's the spirit, mate. Happy New Year!
Oh, here you go. Here's yours. You've got Rudolph. Have I? Great stuff.
We need to crack on.
Anyway, he kept the dog.
Yeah, he kept the dog. Now, he poured acid on them, but Dr. Henderson's foot didn't melt because he didn't put it in the barrel properly. But he just poured it away in the corner of the yard anyway. Now, he wrote letters from Rose to her brother, sold all their stuff, again, for about $250,000, gave his girlfriend some of Rose's clothes. Awful. Now, Rose's brother Berlin wanted to go to the police. He's like, they've gone missing. And Haigh was like, no, don't go to them. Because they've actually gone to South Africa. And the reason they're there is Dr. Henderson was carrying out illegal abortions. And if you say that they've gone missing, I'm going to have to tell them that they were doing that.
It doesn't give people a backstory, doesn't it?
Yeah, fucking yeah. So he wants to kill the brother. But he doesn't really have time to. So, because his brother's still pushing around and asking questions. Now, he made plans to visit a dead friend's mum.
Okay.
So a mate of his had died, and the mum was left.
We know what he was planning there, don't we? Yeah.
And Killa, but she died before he got there.
Oh, I bet he was gutted, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'd be like, for fuck's sake, what a waste. So he's gambling. He's living in Onslow Court. We looked that up, and it's a KFC now. He's living this. This is where he met.
You hate people that live in hotels, don't you? So Onslow Court was a hotel. Weird. I love it. I'd love to live in a hotel. No. Like, mind you, he doesn't live there anymore. Bloody Jose Mourinho, he's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He was living in the Lowry for like 3 years. So he's obviously...
We've chatted about this before.
Yeah, he's obviously gone now from the Lowry. I'd love to... I fucking love it.
Awful.
Someone, over Christmas, I saw on Facebook, somebody was staying in the Savoy. I was like, I'm going to want to do that next year.
Oh, that's nice. Who's that?
I can't remember who it was. It was someone that I think used to be involved with comedy years ago. But yeah, I was like, well, that's a nice way to spend. No. I'm going to fucking beat that out now. I was thinking, this is great. This is probably go straight up, this one. Not now. Oh, no.
A few beeps in there.
Yeah, I'd love that. In fact, next year, I think, once I've got my financial buffer.
Partner. This is not helping the people who are like, Rachel used to steal from her boyfriend. I'm stop listening to the podcast because she's a piece of shit.
No, honestly, I'm going on a date in a few days. High hopes.
Don't have any hopes. Just go in with an open mind. I'm doing that thing where people in a couple give people who aren't a couple advice.
I know what I'm doing.
Shut your fucking mouth. Exactly. You're an adult. You know what you're doing. I actually think when you're not looking is when you're going to find someone. Shove your fucking driftwood maxim up your arse, mate. I don't need your advice on jack shit.
Also, I'm not technically even looking, really. I'm not. Please know that this isn't an excuse to slide into my DMs thinking I'm desperate. I'm absolutely fine.
I don't think you're desperate. I think you're very sad.
Am I sad? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you've got an air of melancholy.
And
my grey little penis will wipe that smile. Put that smile back on your face. So he met a 69-year-old Olive Durand Deacon.
Great name.
Yeah. And he planned to kill her. Now, she was a smart cookie, wasn't she?
Yeah. She'd come up with a few... She started to chat to him because she had a few inventions that she wanted to talk to him about. She'd come up with an invention, an idea to make artificial fingernails, which you'd think would be forward-thinking for that time of the...
Yeah, she invented false nails.
Yeah, but the ancient Egyptians used to use them.
The ancient Egyptians have invented fucking everything. Everything that comes out are like, oh, is that a spiralizer? Oh, yeah, they're great, aren't they? They've only been around a few years. Actually, the ancient Egyptians had spiralizers. Oh, is that one of those 4K TVs? Yeah, the ancient Egyptians had them, though, so... The ancient Egyptians did fucking everything.
It's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad.
Absolutely insane. And we still use a lot of their haircuts.
A haircut's a haircut, isn't it?
Yeah, but like that... I used to have that haircut, that Cleopatra one.
That's the Vidal Sassoon 5-point bob, isn't it?
Oh, of course, it's not actually an ancient Egyptian haircut, is it? Oh, yeah, it is, because you see the thing with him with a thing over the bonds, don't you?
I mean, isn't that just a...
Welcome to History.
Approximate History with Rachel Fairburn and Kiri Pritchard-McLean.
So
1940... yeah, go on.
So he goes, tell you what, come down to my workshop and we'll have a chat about your invention. So while she's looking at something on, I assume, an Egyptian 3D TV, he shoots her in the back of the head and he takes her Persian coat as well. Takes it to the dry cleaners, doesn't it?
To get the blood off.
and does he give it to to a woman?
Yeah, I think he does.
Because it says as well that he's often sat with keeping the company of different women in the hotel. But,
the older women.
Yeah, none of them stay with him. So there's girls that come and see him as well, but none of them stay with him.
Okay.
Just, maybe probably to give him the air of like, oh, you can trust me. Look how many women I know. Probably that kind of thing.
Oh.
So he shot her. Now, she had good mates. So Constance Lane, who was one of her friends who lived in the hotel, was thinking, where is she? We've not seen her for a couple of days. And I think it was on like a day and a half or something. And she reported her missing. Now, the detectives were pretty on it, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
he was the last person she was seen with.
So what do? They go to his workshop, have a mooch round. And unfortunately, this workshop wasn't the best because he's moved from Gloucester Road, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And there was no drain. So he'd been pouring all the human remains onto a rubble pile at the back
this is Leopold Road.
Yeah.
Also, in this time, in 1948, he claims that his car was stolen and it was found smashed at the bottom of a cliff and there was a body nearby, but they didn't find it till a few weeks later, so they didn't link the crimes together. Now, he wanted to claim on the insurance and he sort of went, oh, God, I could just total this car and claim on the insurance, and sort of mentioned it to Barbara and took her to the crash site. And then a few weeks later, it turns up there and she's like, hold on a fucking thing. So she started to get suspicious of him anyway.
I can't believe she's still hanging around.
No.
So the police, they do a search, and this is what they find. They find 28 pounds of human body fat, part of a foot, some gallstones, and some dentures, which were later found to be Olive Durand Deacons.
But that's amazing, isn't it? Identifying people by gallstones and dentures. Ugh. Christ. Ugh. That's what goes into, like, Richmond sausages. 25 pounds of body fat.
Fucking delicious, though.
Oh, no, they've shit them.
Pig's minds.
Pig's minds?
Pig's minds, yeah. Richmond sausages. What's in them? Pig's minds.
That is horrible.
I fucking love them. I mean... I wonder what would be left of me if I... got no piercings.
A thick slick of tar on the inside of your lungs.
And some fangs.
And a couple of tattoos, half-eaten tattoos.
It just brought my dream back to me last night. I dreamt that I was covered in tattoos.
Really? What would be left of me? I'd be 25 pounds of body fat and fuck all else.
You'd...
probably find out I got one of those fossilised twins in me as well.
You know what it'd be? Just a load of sludge, obviously. But we're just a sprinkling of sequins. You'd be like this. Oh, Kiri.
Sometimes, well, I told you this, but sometimes I'll go for a piss and there'll be a sequin in the toilet bowl. It'll be a different colour to the one I'm wearing.
I'd rather see that than blood.
I don't mean in a shit, I mean a piss. I'm not shitting sequins, although that would be magical.
Shitting sequins.
That sounds like an insight in a line film. Her, she shit sequins.
That's what ladies in Hollywood do. So Barbara
was really shocked. So they arrest him and he says, they said, you know why? He says that this is the result of doing 6 people, not for personal gain. So Barbara was really shocked and went to visit him in prison. And she was like, were you going to kill me? And he was like, what was that, sorry? So were you going to kill me? And he wouldn't answer.
What? Sorry?
And so for the police to search, they had to wear gloves covered in Vaseline to search through the sludge because obviously it was highly acidic.
Vaseline on the inside, on the outside.
On the outside.
Not like Curly from my
Oh, that is the bit that stays with me from that book. Curly soft hand and alfalfa, because I didn't know what it was.
The Dust Bowl.
Oh, God, awful.
I keep stroking.
Yeah, there's stroking your little claw.
There's an episode of Family Guy that they do of Mice and Men. And this is probably one of the worst things I've ever fancied. So Quagmire is Curly. Oh my God. Hello.
What?
Oh, sexy.
You're fucking weird.
Very sexy. I think he's the most attractive cartoon character.
Behave, mate. It's clearly Robin Hood.
Oh, of course, the fox from Robin Hood. But yeah, Glenn Quagmire. Yes, please.
No, awful.
Not to go out with, just for...
Isn't he a paedophile? Oh, no, there's a paedophile in it, isn't there?
Oh, the paedophile's the old... Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's been instances.
You can't say that about a cartoon character, mate.
I can about Glenn Quagmire. He's horrible.
So apparently he had no remorse, and he was like gleefully telling them all about the crimes. So because he misunderstood this law, because this corpus delicti. In fact, when he was in prison, they used to call him old corpus delicti because he would quote the law so often. He's like, "You'll never catch me, boys, because there's no body." So he was sort of going, "Oh yeah, I killed her," and like, "But you can't prosecute me." And they're like, "No, that's not how it works.
We've got evidence, mate.
We've got evidence.
We've got tea.
We've also got a confession." So April the 1st, 1949, the trial starts. You can switch off for this, love.
Thank you very much.
And apparently he engaged in light banter throughout the trial and was quite charming. I think light banter is when you call someone a slag but you laugh at the end. What? It's light banter. And now when he confessed, he asked the police, what would prosecution be for someone who was found clinically insane? Would they avoid the noose? And then they were like, maybe. And then he was like, blah, 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 I'm insane. And so they were like, nah, we don't believe you because he literally just asked us if we could get away with it. So he was diagnosed as not insane, but as paranoid. He also had a friend who testified. They worked in a psychiatric ward, and apparently used to turn up and be like, say now, old boy, if I wanted to fake a mental illness, what would I have to do for it? So he covered his tracks brilliantly there. In July 18th, 1949, 4,000 people tried to get into the court to watch. Now, he had no money to pay for a defence. This is incredible. So, the News of the World, who've always been the good guys, paid for his defence in return for an exclusive, which is the biggest, most reprehensible piece of shit I've ever heard.
Gross, isn't it?
Although everyone is entitled to a fair trial. Now, at the time, because it was... Oh no! You only fucking do that. Excuse me.
Sorry.
This podcast is just us breathing into each other's mouths for an hour and then getting distracted. It's like tantric sex.
Except no one finishes.
It's just when the batteries run out. So the Mirror, also during this trial, because it was huge, highly publicised thing, was found in contempt of court because they emphasised that he was a vampire. Now, he had said that he drank the blood. He said when he was a child he used to have dreams about trees dripping with blood, that he drank the blood off a hairbrush, sort of tried to establish a narrative that he was a vampire. And the Mirror encouraged that, and the court were like, don't fucking tell everyone that he's a vampire or thinks he is, because...
Yeah, people are just going to...
Yeah, it was contempt of court. So there was a £10,000 court costs, which if you think at the time, £8,000 was $250,000. So they lost the case and paid all that. So that's well over $250,000. And the editor was put in prison for 3 months for the negligence. Fucking good. Lock journalists up. I can't stand
Not all
journalists.
of them.
Well, because this is the thing, is like, we need a free press, absolutely, but don't all pretend like you're fucking like breaking the story on the hacking scandal, or you're in fucking whatever, like uncovering Watergate. Generally, you're all nosy pieces of fucking shit who are quite good at English, and some of you aren't even that.
Salacious.
I genuinely, after this year's Edinburgh and how fucking the absolute horseshit that I had to tolerate when I was like speaking out about something horrific, and how the male journalists behave, I'm like, fuck you guys, you can all die in a fire. Like, I'm absolutely done with journalists. And the fact that whenever we do something, they're like, how old are you? It's like, what the fuck is my age got to do with fuck all?
Now, you see, this is something, I will always stand by this. Whenever anyone interviews me and asks my age, I go, why? There's no reason for you to put my age in anything. There's absolutely no reason for your age to be printed in something. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary, and I will never do it.
Have I told you? I must have told you this. People stop you in the street and they go, have you got time for a questionnaire? And I always go, oh yeah. I said, oh, hold on, how old do you have to be? And they go 16 or 18. I go, oh, I'm really sorry, I can't do it. Because they can't go, you're not 15. And it's a way of like getting rid of them quick.
Oh, all right, okay.
It's great. Before they know what happened, I've fucked him over. So he pleaded not guilty, and it took the jury 15 minutes to find him guilty. He wrote to Barbara and his parents before his execution. Neither of them actually... His parents didn't see him before he died. Apparently his mum sent his greetings to a reporter. The least trustworthy people in the world.
Be lucky. Mind how you go.
Yeah.
Take care now. See you later.
IOU, one motherhood. I'm not implying she was a bad mum. I think he's a bad dude. So he was executed August 6th, 1949.
When the, I don't know, henchmen? I don't know, the people who take him to his execution. It was Albert Pierrepoint who executed him. Celeb hangman there.
It really is. He really rattled through them, didn't he? We should do an episode on him.
We should do, actually. When they came to collect him to go to his death, they said, "Oh, would you like I think it was a brandy. Would you like a brandy?" They said, "Oh yes, make it a large one, old boy."
He's quite charming, isn't he?
Yeah, make it a large one, old boy. I think he had a lot of talent, but he used it.
Hey, you've got a great fact about he's in the House of Horrors and Madame Tussauds.
Oh yes, he is. So he left his clothing to Madame Tussauds so they could create a waxwork of him for the Chamber of Horrors.
Yeah, but he left exactly and the cuff must be...
And he left exact instructions about how the suit should be proper dapper, about how his suit should be fitted and how it should look and everything. So there he is.
John George Haigh. The best dressed serial killer? We should do an awards one year. And the nominations for best dressed serial killer are...
Oh my God, Liam Gallagher's just done that Are You Gonna Bingo thing.
Which is Jade's catchphrase.
Yeah. Has she seen it?
Yeah, that's her Instagram.
Oh, is it?
I liked it while we're doing it and I didn't want to tell you because I thought you'd get too excited.
Oh my God, sorry, I just got really excited then. I wish I was a... we can't explain that, it's too much to explain.
Our mate Jade Adams does the Sun adverts. Are you gonna bingo? And Liam Gallagher has just tweeted, "Are you gonna bingo?" Which means he's seen the advert. Which means he watches shit telly.
Which is like...
telly.
It's like, now Jade needs to meet him and introduce him to me. And then I can just get really shy and not speak to him.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
God, this is a really long one. I'm really sorry. It's because we haven't seen each other in ages.
I know. We've had to...
Oh, God. Can we edit it down? Otherwise, we're just going to get people fucking whining. I cannot cope with it.
They'll be happy, I think.
Well, most people are silently happy or just silently stop listening.
Well, the thing is, can I just...
cannot deal with fucking...
If you think the episode's too long, do it in 2 parts.
No,
if you don't like it, why are you still listening?
Well, because people want to complain about something, don't they?
If you want a proper, in-depth analysis into the mind of a serial killer, don't listen to 2 women who make dick jokes for a living, giving their take on it. Watch a fucking documentary. Even better, read a fucking book. Remember those?
What a cunt. Happy New Year.
Yes, hope you had a nice Christmas. Happy New Year. Watch, my gift to you is Wife Swap on Netflix.
My gift for you is please come and see my tour show. Actually, you've been amazing because I think it'll be mainly you guys at the tour show. I've sold out first Manchester date, the other one's half sold out. Sold out York, sold out my Soho run, sold out Cardiff, sold out Bristol, then had to move the fucking date.
All right, mate, welcome to the fucking Bragatron.
Rachel Fairburn, they're not very big rooms. It's not like I'm doing fucking stadiums.
Oh, God, these Wembley Arena yet again.
Yeah, like, yawn. No, I mean, it just means, when I say I've sold out, it means 100 people in that town
That's
will
lovely.
be coming to see.
That's excellent.
I'm fucking made up. It's brilliant. Thank you very much. But please, oh God, here's what stresses me out, is when I non-stop promote my tour. I put it, as soon as it's on sale, I put it on my Facebook page. I also put it on my website. As soon as it's on sale, I tweet about it, I Instagram about it, I Facebook about it. And then what always happens is I go, oh my God, this date's sold out. And then I just get loads of people messaging me going, I wanted to buy tickets for this and I just haven't got round to it. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but that's not my problem. So yeah, please. And then it just makes me feel bad. I didn't write to
the Gallaghers when I couldn't get tickets for Nebworth.
You need to stop comparing me, us, or anything we do to how the Gallaghers behave. The Gallaghers shouldn't have to answer a tweet about what time the show starts, but I bet people do send it. ALG, what time? What's the parking like tonight?
One thing I will say.
Just the one, mate.
9th of January.
Oh.
7:30 p.m. 2 North Down near King's Cross in London. I'm doing brand new material. Friend of the show, Will Duggan, thinks he's doing it. He's not. I'll break that news to him later. And then It's January.
No, don't tell him, and then see if he still listens to the podcast.
Oh, brilliant!
Because the reason why he's friend of the podcast, because he started listening. If you remember,
right? Yeah, great. We'll
good
see
little test for all.
Just to let you know, Will, you're not doing it anymore.
And if anyone else who knows Will tells him about this, then you'll be dead to us.
Becca listens. Don't you dare tell him. What else? Oh yeah, at some point I think it's in January. I don't know what date. I'll have a look.
Fucking hell, mate, this is terrible.
This is shit hot promotion here. I'm doing my show 16th of January at home in Manchester. Please come to it if you want. It's the last time I'm doing it, and then dusted.
You filming it?
No, can't. It's done. I can't be arsed. I think should might film it. There's me and another act.
That was easy.
It's 2 tickets. You buy 1 ticket and you see both shows. I'm on first. I don't give a shit about the other show. Go and watch that if you want. I don't care.
That's the spirit.
I'm more interested that you come and see me because
I'm the other act.
So yeah, that's it.
And live dates, we've just been having a conversation. We're going to try. I think the earliest we can get them in is June. So we're going to try and sort some of those out.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for being so supportive. We really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. As much as I moan, and it's with jest, as you know. I do appreciate everyone that's bought tickets and everyone that listens to this. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Very nice way to end the year. See you in 2019.